All right, next up, we're going to keep this rolling. I get to introduce one of our friends here at Benzinga. Bring him on over, Kyle Barrick, CMO of Holistic Industries. How are you today, my friend?
What's happening, Patrick? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm not going to take up too much time now because I'm sure there'll be some questions, but why don't you dive in? It's good to see you. And I know I get to actually see you or your team next Friday when you open in Madison Heights, Michigan over here.
Appreciate the plug. I'll mention it in my talk. So thanks a lot, Patrick.
There you go, man. All right.
All right. So, so great to be here at Benzinga. It's really, it's a perfect place to have a conversation about brands and cannabis brands. And my name is Kyle Barrick. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Holistic Industries. And my background is in running large global ad agencies. My background's in pharmaceuticals, biotech. It's related, it's similar. And it's no surprise that a CMO of Holistic is going to advocate for brands. I think a lot of us agree that the market's going to become increasingly commoditized. There's a lot of room to grow, but as things become more competitive, brands are going to win. Commoditization is going to hurt and brands are going to win. So if you're a retail investor or an institutional investor, or you're inside the industry, we're all trying to do the same things. We're trying to pick winners. We're trying to pick winning strategies, winning teams, winning companies. And we believe we're advocating that it's worthy and differentiated brands. It's created by people who bring their unique backgrounds to cannabis, their sort of pre-cannabis lives. And underneath it, how those brands are powered by the best operators to bring those brands national. It's those things that we think that will create lasting value for everyone involved. So the best place to workshop and invest is what we say is Holistic Industries aspiration. This company was started by Josh Genderson. He's the CEO and founder in Washington, D.C. 10 years ago. It was a small startup subsidizing CBD for kids with epilepsy. And from that small place in Washington, D.C., we've grown to be what's arguably the largest private company in the cannabis industry. It's his family sensibility that from the wine and spirits industry that really informs this aspiration of the best place to work, shop, and invest in that order. As investors, we're thinking about the numbers. Of course, we're gonna have 24 dispensaries this year, 8 states, 600 staff. I think it's 500,000 square feet of facilities. And since I've been here about 2 years, right before I got here, we were $18 million in revenue. Then we doubled more than to $48 million of revenue. Last year, $100 million in revenue, and working to do this again, to double again, and with a focus on the bottom line. So it's exciting times to be in the cannabis industry, exciting times to be at Holistic, for sure. Just to give a sense of of where we are in the world, we can't be everywhere. We have to be careful stewards of capital or private company. We have to make strategic choices. And so we're going for national breadth, but regional depth. We want to be Wegmans, not Walmart. So when we think about this greenhouse of brands that we're creating, it's the name of our presentation today, and it's the name of what we're putting out in the world. We created this greenhouse because we wanted to have a brand for every cannabis consumer segment. Today's consumer segments, tomorrow's, new to the market, and people who are much more comfortable connoisseurs, as it were. And we also wanted to lean into areas where we had particular expertise in our pre-cannabis life, so we can sort of can have that competitive advantage. This is so essential to our financial success, because at Holistic, half of our revenue comes from our retail Liberty stores, and half of our revenue comes from our brand sales from wholesale distribution with deep penetration in each state. So both are essential. It all starts with the Liberty stores. In the top left-hand corner is represented by that our moss wall, "Life is better with cannabis." It says that in every store. That retail brand is really the anchor of Holistic Industries. It's welcoming, it's local, and as Patrick said, thank you, Madison Heights is going to be our newest store. We're having a Life is Better block party on June 12th in Metro Detroit. Mayor will be there, all our friends and family. So if you're in Michigan, please stop by. And a lot of this is driven, this sort of local flavor and welcoming by local communities is driven by what's on the bottom left-hand corner, Liberty Cannabis Cares. We believe that cannabis can be a force for good. It's led by our rabbi. Pretty interesting. A great example, not on this slide, of taking our personal pre-cannabis expertise and applying it for a competitive advantage in the industry is something we're about to introduce called Liberty Wallet. Liberty Wallet is a cashless payment and reward system, and it could not have been created if we didn't have our CTO, who had a lifetime of experience at Bank of America building similar applications. We're going to talk about strain and dewdrops and Garcia handpicked, but I do want to take a moment on Cannasutica. Cannasutica on the bottom right-hand corner is really near and dear to my heart. It was the personal impetus for me to leave my last job that I had been in the pharmaceutical and advertising industry for 25 years. But we felt that with some like-minded friends, we can help change the cannabis conversation from one that was a little embarrassing and stigmatized to one that's more medical and or one that's more comfortable between doctors and patients. And I had a lot of personal experience with this before, because earlier in my career, I had the good fortune of having a leadership position on the Viagra launch. And when Pfizer came to us with an impotence pill, clearly we wanted to change that language and make it more acceptable and more medical, brought erectile dysfunction into the world ED. And we think there's a lot of crossovers for Cannasutica, and this is going to be in chronic pain. We're launching it later this year. I'm very excited to share more about that soon. So in the holistic greenhouse of brands, we have to make strategic choices. We can't do everything. We don't do tinctures. We don't do topicals. We don't do lots of things. We're looking for brands that have large consumer segments, that are fueled by someone's expertise in our company that gives us a competitive advantage. And then it's placed on top of that holistic operational excellence. We can get national scale quickly, and as well as really anyone else out there, we think. So Garcia handpicked. This brand is near and dear to my heart. Most of our leadership staff are huge fans, and that came through when we were talking to the Garcia team. It's called Garcia handpicked because the Garcia family chooses everything with us: strain, product, package, merchandise, charities, everything that we do. So they chose holistic because we can grow product plants at the quality that deadheads expect. And we're talking about consumer audiences. Deadheads are everywhere. We are young and old across demographics and geographies, psychographics, economics. Really are, you can find them everywhere. It's like a not so secret club. And our head of business development had a similar role at Red Light Management. And he was able to really think through how, if you Red Light Management, who manages Fish and Dave Matthews Band and owns Bonnaroo and Emerald Cup, you could see how expertise at our company could make Garcia handpicked not just another celebrity brand, not just putting a logo on a box, but rather doing something that's really authentic. And it's been received really well. We've only launched a few months ago. We're in 200 stores in California, Massachusetts, Maryland, and soon to be in Oregon in our first partnership deal. So there's a lot of excitement around our brand. It's our first national brand, and it's only been a few months. So Dewdrops is another good example of taking our past expertise and applying it for competitive advantage to a large audience. A couple of years ago in Ann Arbor, Michigan, at the university campus, in a kind of a crappy house, we got all together, sales and marketing and a lot of people who could represent voice of the customer. And we did a lot of work thinking not so much about the cannabis industry, but thinking about the candy industry. And what insights can we gain from learning about where the trends were going? And if you go to a Dylan's Candy Bar or other sort of forward-thinking candy makers, it's about mindful indulgences and 100-calorie packs and things like that. And that's what we wanted to do, is bring that expertise of recognizing trends into our, what we call the approachable edible, the mild edible Dewdrops. But execution, anyone could come up with ideas. It's the execution that's so challenging. So we have candy and confectioner expertise in the formulation stage, and really fun, we got to hire the Disney crew, near Disneyland. They were laid off from COVID, and the entire Disney Kitchen confectionery crew joined our efforts and are making dewdrops in California as we speak. This is a good example of how we can attract new audiences, new people, new folks who want to just try 2.5 milligram and be careful and not have a bad edibles experience. Or if you're more, you can eat a whole bag. You can eat one and stay mild. You can eat more and, get wild. We're very proud of what we're doing. June is Pride Month. And we're excited to share that 100% of our the proceeds from Dewdrops Flavors of Pride initiative, our multicolored bag, multicolored dewdrops, will be donated to our partner recipients, Transgender Law Center, to SAD brunches, as well as Head Count Vote with Pride. These are folks that are protecting the rights of people from LGBTQ community, and we want to continue these efforts in Pride and beyond, and it's definitely a big part of who we are as a company. And what we, if you're in Cape Town, or I'm sorry, in the Cape or in P-Town or the beaches in Maryland, you'll definitely see this brand. So Strain, listening to some of the panels today and yesterday, there's a lot of talk about soccer moms and retirement communities and athletes and all different ways that cannabis could grow in different niches and markets, and that's definitely true. However, when you look at our data, and we have a lot of data that comes in through our dispensaries and through our wholesale sales, still the sort of like the fat middle of the cannabis industry is still big users who want multiple form factors, who are discernible users of cannabis. And particularly in the East and in the Midwest, where we operate most deeply, they haven't found a brand that speaks to them specifically. And that's what Strain is about. We call it craft cannabis at scale. And it's really this idea of it's a challenge, right? Because people want their reliable strains available to them when they want them, and people who want something new all the time. And these are plants, right? So this is a very challenging logistical operational challenge, marketing challenge, packaging challenge. But that complexity, I think we can show some opportunity and advantage. Sometimes we don't have the expertise and we have to borrow it, rent it, buy it, find it. And we're really partnering in clever ways in Northern California. We're excited to share a very interesting, some partnerships that are coming up that honor the plant in clever ways and bring some very old and new techniques to cannabis across the country. Mentioned Cannaceutica. This is going to attract an audience that doesn't really so much exist in cannabis industry right now. These are folks who are comfortable with the idea of cannabis but haven't used it before, perhaps, or maybe they have. Unlike wellness brands in cannabis who are making all kinds of unsubstantiated claims, Cannaceutica, we believe, is going to be the first true healthcare brand in the cannabis industry. We do back up every single claim that we make with evidence. It's cannabis with evidence. We have a current major university study that's really not so much proving that cannabis is efficacious for chronic pain, or that it's free of serious adverse events, because we all know this. It's really about taking the guesswork out of cannabis medicine, how to use it, how to dose it, how to titrate it, really teaching physicians how to do that. And only Holistic has the unique expertise to bring that whole pharma playbook to the cannabis industry. It's a unique skill, I think, that we bring. So we really thank you for your time. We don't have a specific call to action today. Holistic just completed a pretty large oversubscribed raise, $55 million, which there's a lot of capital needs in this marketplace. We're so happy that investors are sharing our excitement. This is one of the fastest growing industries in the world. We're one of the last private companies, that remain. And we still believe, and I think hopefully I've influenced you a bit, that it's great brands that fulfill the needs of huge audiences are going to win. Those that are powered by people who have unique pre-cannabis expertise and are bringing that to their past to cannabis, and also have a unique interest in cannabis. This is not just another widget to monetize. You have to have a passion for the plant. and all operating on a scale that we can scale nationally, like holistic. So we believe we can create lasting value for everyone involved. And fun morning, open up for some questions whenever we're ready. I think I maybe stop sharing.
Kyle, thank you so much, man. That was so awesome. I had to take my jacket off. So I love it. I love it. And also, maybe I'm just a rube over here, but I had never heard the eat one, stay mild, eat more, get wild. So I need that T-shirt immediately if that is a thing.
Noted.
Yeah, that is awesome. Okay, so we have a couple of questions here, and some of them I'm sure will pertain to you, and you'll want to answer. Some of them, you know, you may not, but give us what you got here. Free Economy is asking us, when will Holistic have its IPO? A question I'm sure you get 17 times a day, but let's hear it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm definitely CMO, not CFO for sure. And last I checked, the United States still has makes cannabis federally illegal. And so IPOs are not possible in the United States. But one day there will be, and that will be exciting.
There you go. There you go, Free Economy. Hope you enjoyed that. How many locations in Michigan after Madison Heights? What are your plans for expansion here?
So Michigan, we have a dispensary in Ann Arbor, which go blue. We have Michigan's first consumption lounge, which we are building right now in Ann Arbor, 2 doors down from Blimpie Burger, if anyone's familiar with that.
Oh, wow.
So the idea of a consumption lounge 2 doors down from Blimpie Burger, and just, you know, the possibilities are pretty exciting. And then we have a store in Corktown in Detroit, a dispensary. And then finally our center is really going to be at Madison Heights, where we will have a full cultivation, extraction, and dispensary all in one place. It's sort of a cannabis headquarters of Southeastern Michigan. We're having, as I mentioned, big party Saturday. Anyone wants to come next Saturday.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm sure we will be there, but that is exciting, man. Okay. So this must be a tough question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Right. And as the CMO, you're probably a father of most of these brands, right? Is there a brand that you're most excited about or most proud of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have 3 kids. So you're like, say, which one of your kids do you like the best? And it changes by the day. The idea personally that I personally get to work with the Garcia family and bring a new brand to music festivals that could ultimately sell cannabis to people, is at the same time as working on clinical trials for chronic pain to help people and doing in ways that no one's ever done before in the industry. It's hard to choose which is your most favorite part of your day. So it's a great industry to be in, great time to be in.
Well, then here's a follow-up, because I figured you'd say that. So when it comes to the name recognition that, you know, a celebrity brand can bring, how does that translate? And I'm just curious, right? How does that translate to market position? Is it larger basket size? Is it, you know, higher dollar sales? You know, and then follow-up question to that: do you find that that's at all localized, or does it translate across localities?
Yeah, as everyone who's familiar with the cannabis industry knows, there's incredibly different dynamics in the West Coast than there is in the East Coast, and it's changing so rapidly. So if you can have a premium brand, premium flower brand, supply it, looks great, beautifully packaged, in some of our markets, like in, say, Massachusetts, people are going to buy it, and they're pretty excited to buy it. In California, we really have to compete in a different way. So we'll walk into a store and they say, we have 30 pre-roll brands already. Why should we carry yours? But our results are measured, I think, by our uptake and share and revenue. But most important, I think premium pricing shows that given the choice between brand A and brand B, they're willing to pay more for a brand that has a higher perceived value. And I guess that's our job, the marketing job. Yeah,
that's super interesting. Higher perceived value and the psyche that goes into you know, pulling the narrative across these stores, right? That's really cool. Well, then, you know, let's dive into this. What do you look forward to the most? You know, I mean, your job, you get to interact with some of the coolest people in the world, I would imagine. So what is it that you like and enjoy the most about this?
Yeah. You know, it always comes back to your parents now, doesn't it? But
Maybe, maybe
not
it
your
does.
parents, but parents. The conversation that I had with my parents recently, they're living in Florida. They're not people who would normally be talking about cannabis. And I guess maybe because I'm in the industry, their ears are perked, and everyone around them is talking about the possibilities of cannabis for helping their sleep and their chronic pain and their anxiety. And the fact that folks who before would never have considered this and grew up in a different era are having the same kind of conversations they're having that I experienced in the pharma land. I'm just looking forward to the normalization of it. And it's happening, and we're making a contribution to making it happen. So I'm excited about that.
Very cool. And I mean, lastly, Kyle, is there anything that's keeping you up at night right now? Anything that you're like, okay, this is the one thing, you know, I'd like to address, I'd like to get over the hump, or anything like that?
Yeah. I actually thought running ad agencies were really hard. It's really hard. It's really complicated business, but the complexities of a multi-state operator blow ad agencies away. It's just not possible that you can be an expert cultivator, extractor, retailer, marketer, M&A expert. I mean, it's not possible. So what keeps me up at night is the operational aspects of running a cannabis company. It's just mind-blowingly complex, but it's also a competitive advantage if you can figure it out. So hopefully we're on our way, but it's hard.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and one quick follow up to that, when it comes to how you're able to market these products, right? Is any of that changing in the near term? I know that there are some platforms coming online now to, you know, hopefully to address those things, but you know, give us a sense of how you're doing that.
Yeah. Sometimes a media strategy, which is one, sometimes a media strategy is where we will be accepted. Of course, we have our plans. We have our aspirational omni-channel media plans where we get data and collect it all, and we are able to optimize our message, et cetera. But sometimes it's just where we'll be accepted because we're still very restricted in our marketing.
Well, yeah, and we're all aware and understand the challenges there. Well, to send you off, my friend, our good pal Joe Costanzo in the chat here would like you to hit up Ben and Jerry's and team up with Cherry Garcia. So I don't know if that's in the plans, but there you go.
Appreciate free ideas anytime.
Yeah.
See you, Patrick. Thanks, everybody.
See you, man. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. You guys, Kyle Barish again from Holistic Industries is the CMO over there, and they absolutely kill it at that company. Private still, but you know, obviously we're going to keep a close eye on that. You know, companies in this industry that move so quickly, so we'll definitely do that.